All right, so last time we were doing a transition, and what I noticed, right, is that when these were like right next to each other, it's probably a little bit too sharp in terms of the transition. So I thought maybe we'll try some extra. So how can we maybe, let's try this thing in here. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but we'll work it out. You get the feeling that it has to be something like that, right? It has to be somewhere in the middle. Can we get that to do something? Well, my feeling is probably needs to be bigger. Let's again make it the same size as this. If it's going to actually cover the whole transition there, it probably needs to be even bigger than that, right? So this size, it actually covers everything, right? So what was the size of that again? 417, right? Okay, so let's think about the scale of it, then that'll be the first thing to think about. I think probably what I want it to do is to go into 96540, right? So do we want 3 keyframes maybe? What about it goes in small, becomes big to cover the transition, and then goes out small? So let's start it off over here. Let's make sure we want it really small, right? So we're going to start it off about 1/6. Yeah, so we'll start it off about 124. There we go. It's going to be coming in from the left-hand side. There we go. And we're happy with the scale at this point. So it's at minus 275.40. And we know it needs to get to 960. So what is the length of that? So we're going from 3 to 5. So at about, it's about 4, let's say about here. So here, this is going to be 960/540. And then let's do a full size here. And then at the end, what did we say? 124? And it's gonna have disappeared. Okay, there's the starting point, right? So what can we do to this thing to make it more interesting? Again, we need to do another video effect. We don't want it to be anything to do with a generate effect would be good here, right? I wonder if you can create colors in just a black shape like this. You can. So that is useful, right? So we could do, that's 364,359, right? So what we could do is just maybe try and do some colors that are reasonably close to it, that perhaps like fit in a bit. Nothing particularly, just like to create like a pleasant looking gradient. That one's too sharp as well. Maybe something a little bit on the here. So you can see we've got like some nice shades, right? You know what I'm thinking with this though? Is what if we instead doing it this way? We go from here. We just check that everything's still good. Yeah. What if we didn't do it this way? put this back at 960, 540. But instead, we're going to, you know what I'll do? Let's see what happens if we go 0 on it. So it's probably going to be about minus 300. What about that? Because if you think about the way that this looks, it's actually going up anyway, so it's actually going to follow that along. It looks cleaner, right, like that. So it's resolving that way as well. And in a way, what I think I like about that movement is that it's actually synergizing with the whole process. We've got a clockwise turn from the 16.9 into the 9.16, right? It does parallel it because you could see that as a. If I went to the diagonal right, it would be clockwise, wouldn't it? If I went to the diagonal left, it would be anti-clockwise. But I think going straight up is fine. Yeah, and remember this doesn't take very long, right? We're done with it within like 2 seconds. Yeah, now you can see you really don't even barely notice the transition. Because basically you're saying like, I'm not going to change everything all at once. We change to the right format. It's slightly wrong size. But you don't notice that. You wouldn't notice that this is smaller than this, right?